Yep, he wants to try his best here to kind of just control the wave so that they have first priority on this turtle. You can see the rotation. Even Harith is heading, is making his way down towards that turtle fight. And this is going to be really big here because Burmese Ghouls, they've won so many of these just off of one turtle.
This is Carlteasy going for the purple. And I do believe after Flapteasy pushes them off, they're going to go for this turtle. Now, that's Few going to be pushed in by Ruby DD. Oh, Carlteasy gets invaded in by Ruby DD, and that's going to be the turtle taken here by Ace. And there's not much Bren Esports can do. Flapteasy sure palms the Poisson, but for so long, how can you survive this? Oh, he's still in it. That's a nice. And that's going to be just the first blood and the turtle. Oh wait, Burmese Ghouls, they're not going to force it. Instead, just going to go for a few hits on the first turret.
Great save coming from Few there. If he wasn't there, at least then he would be going down and giving another kill over to the Burmese Ghouls. But this is what BG kind of play for. First turn, get that extra gold, make things work.
Oh, here we go. Butters, check it out.
And look at this, the unstoppable force will be forced, but still maybe won't go for the engage. They don't have their ultimates, they don't have their spells, and they are just forced to back out. It was a bit of a, let's say, they're trying to just scare out Lusty to not follow them.
What's happening here up on the top side? Looks like, I mean, both sides are kind of just eyeing for information, and especially Kid. There could have been an engagement there, but counting the numbers, 3 versus 2, not the best, so they have to pull back. They get some good damage onto Few for now, but how long can this last? Calamity Reaper being purchased by Ruby DD.
Ooh, Mountain Shocker scouting out where the rest of Bren Esports are, and that's going to be Rebo. Just hit by 3. Smooth operator. Ruby DD is so far responsible for the 2 kills currently present for Burmese Ghouls.
And Ace even stole the crab coin that Carlteasy was taking on that top lane with the Mountain Shocker. So things are going great for the side of Burmese Ghouls.
Maybe looking low. Oh, that's the first pick off. Few gets it. And this is some redemption for Bren Esports. Like, they can at least take the purple. And yeah, we are about 5 minutes in for 30. 1,000 gold ahead.
I mean, is it some? Because again, they're losing pressure across the map, and now Burmese Ghouls are looking to continuously attack, and they're destroying the shields. They've already completely cleared off the barriers coming in from that topside turret. Few, he gets on out of there. He doesn't want to, put himself in any more danger than he already is. The Burmese Ghouls only up by 700 gold, but they could double this off of a single kill.
Bren Esports, they should look out for the pickups that Burmese Ghouls are going for.
Yep, on angles the Burmese Ghouls want to go, and that's Few getting blasted out, but Ace from the back lines getting caught first. That's a trade currently. The mid support for the core and the tank, and now Flapteasy still has the Poisson, gets caught in there by the Dragon Tail, knocks him out, and the fight stays here near the turtle pit. Now Lusty trying to make sure that they all stay put, and Carlteasy trying to take this, and he does it 1-for-1 now. An ejector onto one. Rebo going into the back lines. He is going to retreat. Ruby DD wants more. That's the disengage.
Oh, Ruby DD, he needed to target a single person. He drops down the Zaman Force and he got splits in 2. He wants to go for D, but then Carlteasy's in the back. Which does he go for?
Bren Esports know that Burmese Ghouls have the team fight on lock right now for the early game. What they are doing right now is this: they're trying to get the small victories. Get the turtle, don't overextend, do not engage him as much as possible. It's their time now. Just scale for a bit, wait for the proper timing to fight, and Bren Esports are doing it well.
Can they get more, though? Can they push this advantage that they have here? D needs to get out of there. Oh, no, Rebo, he gets caught by the Imperial Justice. Great play coming in for the Burmese Ghouls, and a huge counter item here. Necklace of Durans just to stop the healing coming in from everybody on the side of Bren. And they want to go for another pick onto Lusty. Wrong place, wrong time.
On the bottom lane, there is another kill on Flapteasy, and bodies are going down on the floor just because Burmese Ghouls, they really like these pickoffs.
3 fronts here for Bren Esports so far. Carlteasy looking for revenge. The bloodthirsty prodigy here gets one at least, shutting down Ruby DD. Now the fight continues after taking this turret. That's the knocking him up. Gonna go for the Black Dragon form. This is a full bar of Sha energy, and now Carlteasy dueling with Ace, and there you go. The unstoppable force takes down the core. That's Claude destroyed here, Kid flickering out, and that's D. Finally shut down by Lusty. Currently 2 for 1. Brenny Sports, they seem to be getting trumped by Burmese goals at every turnstile.
I think so far, I think it's just 2 mistakes, and that's why the Burmese goals are only slightly ahead here.
Burmese Ghouls, they've been getting a lot of these kills, but for the side of Bren Esports, they're getting the trades because the last time they met, every fight that Burmese Ghouls wins, it has an objective that comes with it. But for this certain game, they're not getting the turrets early.
Yep, unstoppable force here. Plus the ejector into the back lines. Poison's not going to save you. Ruby DD, an assassin of a Harith, takes down Flap. And now, hold up, Kaltizi looking for some revenge. Kid uses the Imperial Justice to retreat. That's going to be D going in. Where's the backup? They're looking for it. Kaltizi getting blasted. Oh, that's the Fatal Links onto one. D is still alive. A bar full of Shah, and that's Few destroyed by D, and they get away with it. Ruby DD is just having a ball.
Oh my goodness, how did D survive that? My goodness, he really took quite a beating off of it.
And Burmese Ghouls, they're getting the fights, but they're timing it well. When do they take a fight? They take a fight when they take down Flap. Flap is respawning. He cannot respond to that gank, and that means D, as of now, will be unkillable.
I think it was looking good initially because Few, he was looking for that pick off. He was trying to say, hey, I could get this big stun onto D, and maybe we can play off of this. Burmese Ghouls see the opportunity to say, hey, he has no options to get out now. We can look for the punish.
That is true. As you can see right now, Burmese Ghouls, they really like to go for these kinds of plays. Just stay in the brush, try to get the ejector close to Kid. Kid sets up the Imperial Justice, and that is a 1-for-1. And that's what happened right here.
Same old story, the same old story. Lusty walks into a death bush, and now Flapteasy trying to save the day. Son, it's too late.
The classic happens more times to pros than you would like to admit, but D is going to keep on smacking up that tier 2, and this is what Burmese Ghouls have been doing ever since the group stages, just making sure they take fights and they start getting that return of investment somewhere across the map. Todak did a pretty good job, but you know, Burmese Ghouls making it look really, really natural.
Bren Esports, they should be looking at that Lord, maybe not give it to Burmese Ghouls as of the moment, because when they do, that is going to be all of the outer turrets down, and probably one inhibitor turret on their side is going down as well.
Flapteasy hit there with the ejector, but it's going to be a non-starter. Real quick, item check. Kid just bought a glowing one. That should lead to more kills, but right now, that's the Mountain Shocker starting it off. As we just said, Few gets taken down. Ruby DD though, 2-for-1. The current trade here, the numbers are going well for Bren Esports. Kid and Ruby DD for Few.
That was a great fight for Bren Esports. Burmese Ghouls, they thought that they caught Bren off guard, but they were ready. They knew that there was a possibility, a small possibility, that someone or two people are there in that brush, and it paid off for them.
Yeah, and I mean, even Ruby DD, he dropped down the Salmon Force to make something happen, but now the Burmese Ghouls looking to turn this fight on top of them to make sure they don't get the Lord, maybe in the back line, but he goes down almost straight away. Flapteasy making sure he's zoning out Ace. They have a double kill coming in for Kaltizi, making it look real nice and smooth as the comeback mechanic is here, down 4K, now evening up the score to at least 1K differential and taking the lead.
Oh no, the fight continues. Kid forced to retreat. Zaman forced it in by Ruby DD, but the damage has been done. Words have been said, feelings have been hurt, and Lord is marching down mid.
Nice engage there for the side of Kid. He might have bitten off more than he can chew, but Ruby DD saves the day. They cut their losses to a minimum.
Check this gold graph out. At least we get a better idea, because again, when we were looking at the Burmese Ghouls, they were almost reaching that 5K mark, and that would have been a really difficult position to get, especially when it was about 7 to 6 minutes of the game. Now things have changed, and they're looking to force it harder.
Yep, they're pushing this mid lane turret. Mission accomplished for Bren Esports. Ruby DD takes a few hits from Lord. The swing of the axe chunking him off to about half health, and there's another push up top. Wow, how the tables have turned. Burmese Ghouls now feel the pressure from Bren Esports.
And look at this, all turrets, all outer turrets for the side of Burmese Ghouls are going down, and for the first time in forever, I'm seeing Burmese ghouls defend their own turrets.
I mean, don't hold your breath for too long here. This is going to be the Lord power play. Red going to force the situation here. D trying to disengage the entire team to allow time and buy space for RubyDD to drop the Salmon Force. And Brent Esports, they call it. They see what's going on. No, I will not let you choose this fight. And maybe he's not done with it yet. The Unstoppable Force is going to get punished with the Circle Eagle as the rest of Brent Esports push him back into the Toys Poissons as a recommendation to stay away from our jungle.
That was a good move for the side of Burmese Ghouls, that they just wanted to catch one person for the side of Brent Esports and toss him back. Maybe just stall Brent Esports from pushing. But Burmese Ghouls, the execution right there didn't really work out for their side. Just because Brent Esports, they were ready and they know that that will happen.
Oh, Flapteasy here picked off by RubyDD. They get their comeuppance, and it's not for free. Butters.
Divine Crystal and Divine Glaive and Holy Crystal, not Divine Crystal, goes up for the mages here on the side of Brent Esports.
Oh, D with that Black Dragon form, and we're looking for a big engage here. That's going to be the... the Blazing Duet takes down the Kid with Few putting in the last touch. Now D here, caught in no man's land. You are the odd one out. 2 for none here so far. Brent Esports turning the river into a wasteland.
Right now, I have to give it to Bren. Their re-engagements into these fights, especially when Burmese have the advantage, is pretty significant. Let's check out the items here. Butters, what are your thoughts?
Okay, Athena Shield for the side of Lusty. That will help him survive Kid Sylvana. Rebo is on a roll right now. He has all of his items up. Winter Truncheon is there. Flapteasy is kind of having a hard time just getting his items. He has a Molten Core there just to clear the waves. For the side here of D, he doesn't have, let's say, a Blade of Despair just to add extra damage. Ace here still has 4 items only on his belt.
I mean, with the items in the position that they are in right now, Burmese Ghouls, 39k to Bren's 43. Bren just hit their power spike. All Burmese Ghouls have to do, play this slow, clear that waves, wait until that Lord is up, and then play this stalemate where you're putting enough pressure to say, hey, I could look to contest you on Lord, and I might contest you on Lord, but as long as you are not finishing the Lord, we have enough time to hit our 42k power spike, and then that's where they're going to call it.
Queen swings on Carl Teasy. He might just tank some of the damage.
Oh,
here.
the fight has already started from the back line. Ejector on the Flapteasy. He pops the Poissons, and that's D taking quite a few hits from that. Mountain Shocker gonna be an incentive for Brent Esports to back out. That's gonna be from the back lines, baby. Getting chonked. Oh, this is going to be the pit helping Brent Esports out. That's a double for Brent. Make it a triple. It's 1 for each of the TZs, and right now they are primed for the second Lord take. Mind you, this is Luminous.
Oh no, this was a very poor choice for the Burmese Ghouls to actually initiate on that fight. They said, hey, maybe we can go back in. The Toys Poissons has been wasted, and D, he's got a little bit of health. He has max on his passive, so he could heal back up. Unfortunately, RubyDD can't get into the fight. You want to fight on these neutral objectives, a place where you have a lot of places to abuse your Chrono Dash and kind of outmaneuver your opponents.
Molten Core became the cursed helmet here for Flapteasy. Carl Teasy having a good time just roaming around the map, getting those stacks, and Dominance Eyes, Queen Swings, Cursed Helmet. That is enough defense items to tank the damage that will come out from Burmese Ghouls. So that means as long as Flapteasy is getting item progression, there is going to be a lot more resources that will be put to him to take him down.
I would totally agree here, and again, Burmese Ghouls have to choose the places that they fight in. They cannot go into these narrow corridors. They cannot afford to get hit by these big-ticket ultimates from Lusty. And if Rebo gets into that back line, sure, you have escape mechanics, but Kid needs to be the one to dictate where the place and time the fight is going to occur.
And those are all tall orders because Brent Esports has the superior combat mobility. They can just say where the fight happens and they can force him, and right now that's what's happening here. Mountain Shocker to try and clear the waves, but it's too little too late. Lord already whacks away at that inhibitor turret. Ace at less than half health. That's going to be the push on bottom lane as well. Now only mid stands. Let's see how Burmese Ghouls will deal with the second Lord of the game. There's a fight on all fronts here, and I'm waiting to see who's going to make the first move.
Oh, thankfully they were able to kill the Lord before it actually charged in towards that inhibitor down on mid side. That would have been a huge blow.
That Rebo is just turning on that Blood Ode. He's
never off.
never turning it off. He has the purple buff on under his belt. Now, Karltizi, they have all the time in the world to just end this just because Burmese Ghouls, they're not getting their buffs anymore.
Yeah, this is the choke right here.
I mean, yes, you're saying it's a choke, but it's only 8K. They're only 8K behind. Burmese Ghouls, if they win one fight, they're even. And if they win that fight, the goal lead isn't going to matter at all once it hits that 53K mark.
But then, Gidjon, if you are defending this hard, you take every advantage that you can.
True, but that also means you have a safe way to farm. It goes both ways here. Bren need to find a way to catch the Burmese Ghouls off guard. And the Burmese Ghouls, if they get a little too antsy and they don't play disciplined and walk out and get punished for that mistake, Bren will end this game. There's going to be 92 more seconds, and Burmese Ghouls don't necessarily have to force anything.
So far, these two teams have been acting like well-informed businessmen. They know the economy of their skills. They know what the timings are like. They know which heroes should be the priority. And right now, they know how much each buff costs. And that's what I'm trying to get at. The last time we checked, as you said, it was what, like a 7K, 8K gold lead? Just. But that's because Bren Esports has been on the choke only about a rotation of buffs in, but now that's the second or third, and Burmese Ghouls, you see it, you feel that Ruby DD, you feel that Ace, they're just not dealing as much damage.
For now, but let's have a look. I mean, they've got the purple buff, which is really important, especially for Rebo here, and now keep your eyes on Karltizi. When he has that orange buff, Burmese Ghouls might have to reconsider whether or not, who the hero priority is going to be here, and this orange buff, it's way too important. Legs pulls in two from the Burmese Ghouls, and the mouth shotgun does come out, but maybe he's trying to zone out the rest, and Karltizi, he doesn't mind taking that damage as he goes on forward, but Ruby DD is going to be the next on the chopping block. He tries to dodge it around with his Admin Force, but it ain't going to be enough as maybe pulls backwards again. He can't do too much. He turns around with the Imperial Justice. Ace tries to go in and get the killing spree. He's got it down. Now it's a 1v3. He dodges right in between, sweeping and sliding, but Rebo finally joins the fight. This is looking pretty bad for the Burmese Ghouls, especially on game one, and Brent, they call it off, take their wins, and now they need to end this right here, right now.
And this is going to be Few trying to do as much damage as possible. Maybe here, gets gone out. Ace gets gone out as well. And look at this, the burst down won't be there, but that is not going to be the main objective as the base of Burmese Ghouls go down.
That's game one taken here by Bren Esports. Chalk one up to the Filipinos. And Butters, how perfect you called the very last moments. This is a different Bren Esports. They don't need that game one pickup.
Yeah, and of course, we're going to get back to Butters in a little bit. This is what you actually talked about much in the couple of all these series. They always lose game one, and they are proving everybody wrong this time. They are picking First Blood.
Yeah, more importantly, that First Blood, it really made quite a difference, didn't it, Butters?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the pacing here, the First Blood was good, but at the same time, Burmese Ghouls, they still played their game. They had the perfect early game. They got the first turtle. They got what they wanted. But the thing right now, the difference right now is Bren Esports, they really thought about how to handle that pressure. They always go for the trades. BG, they are not a team to take risks. So that means if you get the trade on them, they won't be pushing as much because they're not playing as 5.
Well, I think at this point, I do agree with that they don't necessarily take risks here, but I think looking at the draft, there is that big issue with that Baxia, and I think we have enough of a data pool to say, yes, Baxia needs to be reconsidered and needs to be banned out, and you want to get rid of the Esmeralda as well, things that regenerate with their health, so at least you have a way to deal with it.
That's right. We're going to be talking a lot more about every stat as well as picks as we got our analysts on board. Take it away, LaFell and Wolf.
What a wonderful start to our best of 7 matchup. Thank you so much, casters. My name is Wolf and I'm with Lavelle. We're going to be analyzing that match. You know, they were talking a little bit about the draft. While I agree that there are some draft issues for Burmese Ghouls, I think they also played this well. But unfortunately, Bren Esports, they were better planned in this particular game. What do you think about that?
So, since this is the Grand Finals, I will actually look at it a little bit more critically, where I feel like both of these teams both equally made mistakes. Where early stages in the game where Brand, okay, maybe they wanted to scale a little bit to the mid game before they start taking the fights, but it seemed like they were not sure what to do and how to respond to what BG is doing. And the same thing happens to BG later on in the game where, all right, the early and the mid stages, they look pretty good, but then when it starts to matter in the terms of team fight, they have some big mistakes. Like, I don't think we'll be looking at any clips, but the thing is, Yu Zhong, as we can see, when he goes in his Black Dragon form, he takes too much damage. And the thing is, we will look at his itemization and see why that is so. And the last thing is that when he lands, he doesn't successfully hit any knockup. And Brand, they just kite and then they just go back in.
You know, night and day, I would say, from the performances of the playmakers when the mid-game did happen. This is why I feel that my personal MVP is Lusty for this particular game, because his playmaking alone trumps the initiations coming out from Burmese Ghouls. Because if you think about it, Sylvana and Joyd and the Yu Zhong, they made a lot of questionable calls in the mid-game. But let's talk about the items. One thing I want to point out is Few, with this first item, Durance, he picked this up about maybe 5-6 minutes, and that is so crucial for Bren Esports. As the mid laner for Bren Esports, he's able to just help his teammates kill people in a mid-game.
I just appreciate whenever teams are playing the Baxia composition, they just have a Necklace of Durance early or a Deadly Blade just to make sure that no one in the enemy team can ever sustain.
That's right.
Now, look at Yu Zhong's itemization. He is mostly on MR. He is mostly on Magic Resist. There is no armor coming from the Yu Zhong. And every time he goes in, he is always kited by the Claude. The Claude just goes back. He uses his artillery to get more stacks of movement speed as well as attack speed. And the damage that Yu Zhong took, he could not handle. And Sylvana and Jawhead. Sylvana, in my opinion, had more catches than the Jawhead, where the Jawhead is more like a scouting kind of player, and he did not do much of the initiation. And even if it did, it didn't mean that much in the grander scale of the game. Just like you said, comparing Jawhead and Lusty with the Atlas did so much more.
You know what? We always talk about the scaling potential of the cores. Why don't we talk about the scaling potential of the supports? Because I think that their damage might not be scaling, but the impact of their initiations, there is a lot of difference. Like, for example, Sylvan and Joy, they're really good when it comes to the early game pickoffs. But in the late game stages or the mid game stages, when it matters most, Atlas obviously trumps it. And I love the way how FlapTZ played it. And wow, okay, this guy is not gonna go. We are going to see him in many MVP appearances. My goodness, another one from Carl TZ.
If he keeps playing the way that he's playing, he is gonna get the MVP.
That's
with
right.
A lot of damage being caught out by the Claude, making sure that he kites out all of the engagement from the enemy team, making it very, very difficult for Burmese Ghouls to really take him out. Now, the thing is, Burmese Ghouls, they are very, very good at team fighting. But as you said, throughout M2, Brand is the kind of team that downloads the strategy from the enemy team and then learns from it. And the thing is, we've seen before that Burmese Ghouls, but now Brand is the first one to get point.
And you know what? This is a very smart take coming up from Kaltizi, picking up that Quinn's Wings and that Athena Shields. This really helped him tag through all of the scaling damage from the side of Burmese Ghouls, because they are banking on the fact that this Harith will carry them in the latter portions of the game, but it wasn't possible because of the itemization. I also want to take note, some draft indecisions coming out from Burmese Ghouls. I think they were forced to pick up this Harith, and unfortunately it won't work because of the fact that the Alice was already picked up. This is weird, but I'm gonna say it. Alice is one of those traditional counters to the Harith. Even if you look back, what, 2 years or maybe 1.5 years ago, when people are starting to play Harith, Alice was an answer just because of that instant stun that you get out of the Blood Ode.
Yeah, I especially like how Alice plays. She goes in behind and then use the Blood Ode, get as much damage as she can. But anyway, Wolf, I heard that the players are ready.
Yeah, the players are ready. The casters are also ready. And I am ready for game number 2. Now, here's the thing. Can Burmese Ghouls at least even this up? Or are we going to see a 2-0? Quick 2-0. Quick start from Bren Esports? Let's ask the casters.
Thank you for the breakdown, Wolf, as well as LaFell. We've already wrapped up game number 1. We'd like to thank you guys, and we also would like to thank Tumi for being the partner in esports for M2. The journey to become the champions of M2 has been perfected with the latest Tumi luggage and backpack. You can bring your gear anywhere with you safely without any worries. Be sure to check out Tumi.com to perfect your own journey and enjoy the M2 competition. And wow, so much on the line right now. There's so much to say.
Like to say thank you to an established distributor of many well-loved consumer brands in Asia. That's SUTL Group. They are proud to be the 2021 member of the MLBB Partners in Esports for Fiji Water, Ike Chong's It's Cups, and Mountain Dew. To find out more, visit www.sutl.com.
That's right. You can also catch the live streaming of the mega event Mobile Legends Bang Bang M2 World Championship 2020 held in Singapore for free on MeWatch. A total of 12 teams from 9 different countries are competing for this $300,000 US. And wow, I'm pretty sure it's either Burmese Goals or Brand Esports that will be taking the biggest of this chunk.
Gideon just awkwardly stared at me
What are you talking
and
about?
winked
What?
Didn't see it.
while you were doing spias.
With meaning? What's going on?
Honestly, we need to talk about the meaning of these upcoming games here because again, Burmese Ghouls as well as Brent are really going at each other as of right now. However, I do think with this stop of momentum here, and we did see this previously in that best of 5, Brent with just a little bit of momentum can get this ball rolling, and I think the Burmese Ghouls have 2 options. Either they shut this down now, or Brent is just gonna keep on going. You're gonna see cleaner, faster, more efficient plays.
For Burmese Ghouls, they should start winning by the time game 2 starts. Because the thing is, fatigue is a factor for these kinds of tournaments. Now, if you can drag a game, maybe it could be a 1-1, 2-1, 2-2 setup, or each. That's
talking about
going to-
scores.
Yeah, that is probably gonna make Bren Esports a bit more tired as the games pass by.
A battle of attrition.
And when you're tired, you try to make those decisions that aren't really the best for your team anymore. So it could be an advantage that Burmese Ghouls need to take.
Yeah, and speaking of Witcher, they definitely try to do as much as they can in the early games to actually go in for those sort of picks, and definitely it worked well by getting a couple of kills, but it's the choke points in those team fights that actually cost them a lot. They win in the jungle, they get caught. They try to contest for a Lord, they get caught. So very big elements coming from Brent Esports. Is this something that Brent Esports can stick to, or something that Burmese Ghosts need to look at the picks and bans?
I think so far this Brent Esports that we're seeing in this best of 7 is a different one than we've seen all playoffs, all M2, right? They start strong here again, not wasting any time. Usually we know them as like the underdog that will lose game 1 and learn, and then they'll take the rest of the series. But yeah, Butters, you were saying
This is probably Brent Esports battle scarred.
Battle
Battle scarred Brent Esports.
No, I
Like,
was gonna say
they went through a lot. What were you gonna say?
yeah, I was gonna say that this Brent Esports has unlocked the Ultra Instinct. Like, they know what they're doing and they're in a state of flow.
Yeah.
And they just have to keep going. They just have to keep going, and it's up to Burmese Gold to stop them.
And
it's not on Brent Esports anymore.
Yeah, and you know what? That happens when Battle Night comes on.
That's right. Speaking of Battle Knights, today we are pleased to announce the launch of the new anniversary season of Magic Chess Blazing Hammer. The new adventure awaits you as it will officially begin on January 30th, and the new upgrading system blessing the little commander and map, all synergies revamped, and free trial of advanced skin awaits you.
Battle Knight 10 out of 10, Butters 3.
You know what? You know what? Just let me put a scenario. In some of the animes that we have,
Oh, okay. All right.
okay,
I'm listening.
there is progression.
Uh-huh.
All right? So when you have that progression, you get beat by the enemy team first. Then you learn a lot of new techniques. Then you meet new adversaries. Then you get to the final boss.
Okay.
And that's what happened to Brent Esports right now. This is a new Brent Esports just because of the games that they had to go through.
Wait, are you saying this is Brent Esports' story?
This could be, or this couldn't. This could be not, because the thing is, it all depends on them on how they execute.
So far, M2 has been is on Bren.
True. And
Just the way that they climbed.
all right, boys. We gotta give some room for Gideon. Like, he's giving me some awkward stares.
A little
So.
confused.
I think me and Era are gonna take this away with a little bit of a hot take here, because again,
Yeah.
Bren gets knocked down to the lower brackets, and you know, Burmese, who put them there? Burmese Ghouls. They're like, hey, by the way, we can knock you down a peg,
Right.
just real quick. And
I agree.
after that, they're having one of the best upper bracket runs of all time that no one had seen coming. RRQ gets knocked down. Omega gets knocked down as well. And it's not that big of an issue, but I will say that both teams have definitely taken a couple of, you know, you say
I agree.
anime arcs here, but I really hope it ain't Pokemon, because Ash doesn't win any tournaments until later on. So please don't use anime references on Bren here. You might just jinx it.
Okay, we're not even getting there right now. I'm going to be controlling the situation before we get to Butters as well as Leo. So, Brent Esports permanently banning away that Diggy. They definitely don't want a situation with the sort of the time journey being popped up in those big fights that they're trying to win. So, Natalia, Esmeralda, Matilda, what do you guys think?
Yeah, rounding back into the draft here, this reminds me of the RRQ situation with Bren Esports.
Ooh.
As soon as Bren Esports has proven that on an even battlefield, when you have access to what the standard metagame dictates, and even if you go off and go pick up what Wolf would like to call the sisters, right, with the carry in the core role, Bren still got you figured out. So right now, it looks like they want to play a fair game and force Burmese Ghouls to face the wrath of their momentum.
And remember, this is a best of 7, so anything can happen in terms of drafting, and a lot of things will be adjusted as the games go by. Now, for Burmese Ghouls, I agree with Gideon. They shouldn't forget what they did on the first time they met. They beat Bren Esports clean 2-0.
It's something to keep in mind here, and especially with the Burmese Schools on their final ban. The question is, are there enough tools that have been taken away from Bren to say, yes, I do not need to ban out this Boxia? But let's see it. It's going to be the Claude, and I think that's a good number of tools, which either means one or two things. Either they're going to give Bren the question and say, hey, pick a lot of heroes that can actually bring your life back up, a lot of that spell vamp, concentrated energy. I don't care. I can pick the Boxia within first rotation if I have to. Right, Contra?
Yeah, definitely correct right there, as we have a lot of discussion on this Boxia. Now, it'll be even more interesting if Burmese Ghouls snatch it away in this sort of instance, because they've been able to play quite an enormous variety of tanks themselves, which can definitely throw Brent Esports off. So, 2 picks and majority of the mages being banned away. We're already seeing the Benedetta come online after a long drought.
Ooh, all right, so yeah, we did miss out on the Benedetta. She made it through. And this time around, I think Baksha would be safe. Baksha would be safe because that's Yu Zheng picked up right now by Burmese Ghouls, so they can give Flap TZ Baksha and then figure something out for Carl TZ. There it is, the Yusen Shin.
A stable pick. It's going to give a lot of vision. Think about it. Think about it. Well, it is expected at this point.
I don't know,
that
I'm
they would
sorry.
go for
I'm
it.
still surprised sometimes. I've been doing this so long. The little things that make me
I
happy.
understand. I understand.
Okay, in
But-
comparison of the exchange, we do see Atlas.
Yeah, okay. So let me get back to my point with Brent Esports. They have the Yisun Shin, they have the Selena. They have a lot of vision in terms of the map. Now, they can telegraph where Burmese Ghouls is gonna come from as long as they place those well-timed mountain shockers and those abyssal marks, make it in deep on the jungle side of Burmese Ghouls. Now, for the side of Burmese Ghouls, you would really see how much priority they give into these clashes, that they even pick an Atlas on the first phase of pickings.
I mean, Burmese Ghouls just want to put Ren in an awkward spot here. They saw them perform on it, so okay, if you can work well with it, let's take it away and make sure that we punish you later on into the game. And they're also going to take on the Sylvana. Great ban coming in for the Burmese Ghouls here, just to ensure that, hey, Brent, even if you do throw Boxer into the side lane to deal with our Yu Song, we're going to take away obvious flex picks here and kind of force Boxia into that side lane without having to pose too many questions of whether or not he's going to be put as a support.
Yeah, so far, Bren has proven that, yes, every time we pick the Baksha, it's mostly to just keep fights fair and get regen down to an all-time low. And that's what this metagame currently has been, right? Like, people living to 1 HP, getting away, and forcing long, drawn-out fights. And ever since Flap TZ has figured out, hey, I can be bold with this, I can just force people into fights and win duels even, then yeah, it's all the better. Hayabusa banned out here by Bren Esports. They're starting to out Ace.
Yeah, and Ace is running low on these sort of alternatives, and they definitely know how to target ban the right hero here, and forcing them to actually go the marksman route in towards the jungle. Do you think this is going to be a smart move coming from inside of Brent Esports, Gideon?
Marksman route. I think at this point in time, going the marksman route is your safest bet here. And, you know, making sure that you have the Ishinshin on your side for the side of Bren, that's totally fine. But the Burmese Ghouls, they still have options like the Wanwan. Banning out the Alice, kind of giving me the vibes that Wanwan might be the option that that Burmese Ghouls want to first pick.
And do keep in mind that Benedetta jungle is still a thing.
Exactly.
That is the same adjustment. Let's say that Brent Esports just goes ham on taking out these ace heroes. That Benedetta could be good as his.
And we know that Burmese Ghouls can adjust. They were known
Exactly.
to play non-tank lineups as well.
Yeah, and from the side of Brent Esports, they have taken note that the Lunox is also up for grabs, which is such a strong DPS hero that can be brought online. And with that, you know, this is going to be the first pick in priority of Ace.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it, Leo.
I think Butter's point was true, because if you choke out Ace, yeah, again, they can just throw Benedetta into the jungle, but they switch it up. They say, all right, kid, check yourself before you wreck yourself. We're gonna take away the Lunox from you, but who's still on deck there? Farsa still out there?
Harith's still out there.
Harith's still out there. Ruby DD was going, whoo!
Pretty hot. I mean, he's definitely got some moves. I think the question is whether or not they can scale. Yep, they go for something that scales naturally with level progressions.
Right now, this just tells me that this is going to be a Benedetta jungle. Like, no priority whatsoever in the fourth pick. If you were ever thinking of getting an assassin to the mid lane or a marksman, that should have been that slot.
Yeah. So I think they're just throwing no caution out of the wind. Burmese Ghouls, they're gonna play it hot and loose. Bren Esports now forced to finish their lineup. Last two picks. Farsa here, gonna go on to Rebo from the side lanes. And of course, it's all trusty Lusty's Cho.
Yeah, I think this is really smart for the side of Bren, putting in the Farsa into the composition, and then after going for that offlane Cho, or arguably even the offlane Farsa as well. Even if Burmese Ghouls want to pick up the Wanwan here, it's like, but then you're up against someone you can't really bully, and then what's the point, right?
Yeah, I definitely want to talk about this one, because this Cho's intention is to get that Veil or even the Benedetta if he can get anywhere close to it. So there's a lot of all these layers when it comes down to team fights coming from the side of Burmese Ghouls. And to add on top of that layer, it's really Roger that will be giving them so much of that sustainability and damage in the late game.
Okay, it's good against the backshock. It answered the backshock just because of the percentage damage that he has when in wolf form. He can dive in for the Selena, he can dive in for the Farsa, and it really gives a lot of Bren Esports positioning problems throughout the entire game.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking at this draft. I'd say it's rather interesting here, but Burmese Ghouls draft. This is the first time I'm seeing their draft and thinking like, man, this is a pretty hard to execute draft in comparison to Bren Esports, and it feels like a change of pace.
Yeah.
Definitely a change of pace, and of course, having a little bit of that scalability definitely helps the side of Burmese Ghouls. But you know, Brent Esports is that team that will press you on from minute one, and that might just be the trouble for the side of Burmese Ghouls. But well, Butters, this game, I'm pretty sure there's a stance coming in, but I'm liking what I'm seeing from both sides.
Yeah, it's just hard to execute for the side of Burmese Ghouls, but Bren Esports still has something simple, so let's see.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going in towards game 2. Brent Esports 1 up. Burmese Ghouls still looking for the first point. And casters, please have the floor.
Well, thank you, Aaron Contra, my friend. Now, the reason why I'm saying Burmese Ghouls have a more difficult composition naturally is because of what they have in the lineup. But more importantly, we saw previously when they were up against RRQ. RRQ was like, yes, we want a hard-to-play composition. Burmese Ghouls, I like it simple and I like it effective.
They have 2 executes on their side for Burmese Ghouls, and it really makes a lot of sense just because they want to take Flap TZ as fast as possible. Get his HP on that threshold, press that, and just rinse and repeat.
Yep, and they want to do it to everyone on Brenny Sports side because they're all high damage output heroes, right? Rebo, even Lusty with the only fast, Carl TZ, of course, the core, and this is currently turning into the most fair metagame of Mobile Legends we've seen in a while, right? Save for those Diggy strats, but right now, Flap TZ dueling with D down bottom. Up top, it's going to be the Benedetta versus the Farsa on Rebo and Ruby DD.
Yeah, this might be the first engagement here. Again, we are seeing the Mountain Shocker to get a good idea of how this is going out. Lusty, he sees what's going on off the top side. He's just going to use his G Kundo to get on out of there. As you can see, the Burmese Ghouls have control over that top side, but Bren don't necessarily have to react. I mean, look down bot. They are pushing out D.
Ooh. Now Lusty caught out here. Again, the big rotations by Burmese Ghouls not turning into much. Getting a few hits on this energy shield is Flap TZ and Few growing their lead by about 400, 500. Very, very small, not yet noticeable. But right now, after this turtle, 2 minutes in, definitely we're going to see an early lead.
You can see right now how serious Burmese Ghouls is into taking this turtle. They know when will it come out, and look at this, they have 4 people in the area already.
Knock up here by Cho, maybe gonna be telling them, hey, it's ready, it's ready. The blade put in by Kid, taking some damage, is maybe pop the Poissons. Carl TZ, Lusty at less than half health. I think Brenny Sports already got what they needed. That's the turtle.
Yep, and I definitely think it was a little bit of a macro mistake coming in for the Burmese Ghouls, where they're making the call thinking that they were going to get invaded, but instead Brenny Sports take the advantage of this and go for the turtle, because again, look at D, he only just hit his level 4, his wave was already pushed in. They realized, oh, we're at a level disparity, only because they were able to push D out at the 2nd minute of the game. Small decisions like this make a huge difference, and Burmese Ghouls will not take that risk.
Now Lusty is just staying in the brushes. He knows that he needs to find where maybe is gonna come from, but Carl TZ is just farming well, different from the start of game number 1.
Here we go, Way of the Dragon already on top of maybe to get the first pick of the game. First blood goes through, a quick follow-up of the Abyssal Arrow here, and Burmese Ghouls, again, they are just pulling backwards. They're not trying to be too aggressive, and these picks are going to hurt them at the end of the day, considering what their lineup is.
Now 3 minutes, 30 seconds in, all heroes on the map have their ults. So now fights are going to get more interesting. Engagement are going to be almost all in, and if not, somebody's going to be counting, hey, this guy spent his ult, we should go for a move now. Electo final blow here by Ruby DD, gets caught in by Few in that bush. Oh, Ruby DD wants more, level 6. Here comes the rest of them. Nice arrow to scout out the bush. That's going to be Carl TZ charging up this arrow. Gets a few hits in. Mountain Shocker from the back. Here comes Lusty. Way of the Dragon. That's going to be the Fatal Links by Maybe. And the fight is happening underneath the turret. That's going to be Ruby DD, the first casualty. That makes Kid the second. That's Rebo getting double. Maybe is next. D coming in with the Black Dragon form, and Carl TZ is in his face. That's gonna be Flap TZ coming in. No regeneration for you. 4 for none currently, and Ace is the lone survivor, dodging that arrow by just an inch. And right now, he has no choice but to go down. The wipeout delayed by Brenny Sports. They take it nonetheless.
Burmese Ghouls, Bren Esports, they're playing each other's game. Bren Esports went to the territory of the side of Burmese Ghouls in terms of playstyle, and now they are serving the pain to the side of Burmese Ghouls.
Now, Leo, I know you were very iffy about specifically the Selena and how it's supposed to be executed here. Few legitimately won that entire fight, landing one of the most weaved through Abyssal Arrows to make sure it landed onto Ace. Full 3 seconds of lockdown, allowing Lusty to control the fight. But again, another one will occur.
Same way with the Way of the Dragon, but not I'm a for Lusty, but it's worth. Now back to what you were saying. This was yesterday, man. This was yesterday when the win rates were on an all-time low, and Ruby DD barely gets away with his life, spending his entire kit.
I have this hunch that Ruby DD was looking at the map, just staying there, and he forgot that Bren Esports was still in the area.
I mean, look at Carltese. He has literally 100% kill participation. 4 kills, 5 assists, making sure that that Mountain Sharker is getting maximum value. But check this out. The way that they initially started, Few is ensuring that every single time he doesn't necessarily need to be there. He just needs to stop the follow-up after the abilities occur. So, Fatal Links, whatever. Oh no, you're going to be throwing your Roger in? That's when I'm dropping the arrow.
You also have to look at what Joe did, and Benedetta gets caught out.
It's like he dashed into the arrow as well. Great conditioning here by Brand Esports. Oh, and they get another! Carltese takes down Ace and maybe is running for his life. That's a double for the Prodigy. I don't need the Lancelot. Y'all gave me the YSS, and now Kid flickers back.
Oh my goodness, if you would see the fights, how they happen. Lusty and Q, they're just playing out of their minds. D here getting controlled, arrow thrown out. D will escape, but there is a cut there by Lusty. And that is going to be another takedown. Paper the side of Bren Esports.
Oh my goodness, Few is just, I'm not gonna lie, there's not a few games where I'd say, there's not a, few games I would like to admit it, but this one, he's kind of smurfing. He really is kind of smurfing here. And Burmese Ghouls are playing so nervous around him.
You know, Gideon, I get your point. I'm not a fan of the Selena 50-50 hit or miss as well, but for Bren Esports, if it works, it works.
Numbers don't lie. If you're sitting at 13-1 at 7 minutes in, about 7K ahead, and you leave your opponents running like that, and you're drawing lines with the arrow, I couldn't ask for more if I was Bren Esports, but the Burmese Ghouls, they must be sweating it right now because I think after this last turtle is going to be Lord, what do they need to do? Do they need to take less fights? Do they need more defensive? Because they've already lost all their first-tier turrets.
They need to start playing a lot more safer. They don't need to get caught out like this. The real big threat is going to be Lusty and Q, so as long as they have eyes on them, they don't necessarily need to do these aggressive plays. And Burmese Ghouls, once again, want to try and make this aggressive play happen.
Oh, here we go. The fight has already begun with the turtle being taken out at the right second. Now D getting caught out in the middle of 3. That's going to be the Poissons in here by FlapTeasy, stopping the regeneration. Oh, and we're going to see a triple. Are we waiting for it? That's maybe down by Rebo, and Ace is running away. Oh, he's not going to survive. That's FlapTeasy getting him on the rollout. And right now, Bren Esports is feeling it. They could convert to a massive scale. Maybe 2 turrets, maybe 3. Who knows? They're unstoppable in this state.
I'm starting to get more and more disappointed. This isn't the Burmese Ghouls that we know and love. This wasn't the same team that played yesterday. They are playing scared, and not only that, they're making terrible decisions. Right off the bat, they're not playing off of the power spike. They could have waited for the 22K mark. Instead, they give another 5K over to Bren Esports, a full turtle, and another turret. At this point, Burmese Ghouls are just putting more nails in their own coffin. This is not what I wanted for them. This isn't the team that we know and love.
Burmese Ghouls, they need to find a way to stop this bleeding right now. FlapTeasy is just zoning out everyone. Even D cannot stand in front of Flap. Flap is level 10, D is level 8.
Huge gap here, huge gap. And the fact that FlapTeasy knew that D was there went their way because he knew that it was the only thing left. And if anything, I'm sure he could have forced the Black Dragon form and wasted it for the next team fight. But right now, Ace! Oh, he thought he could get executed, but now it still counts as a kill for Few.
It was a very good attempt, but now Burmese Ghouls, this is a situation where every single fight you really can't do anything, and Bren has the perfect lineup to start pushing their leads with the Farsa and as well as the Selena. Those two are so snowball-oriented, it's ridiculous. Rebo can scale. Unfortunately, Few may not scale as hard, but regardless, his utility is invaluable.
Oh, wow. D retreats from the duel. He was going 1v1 against FlapTeasy, and Rebo says, I gotcha, bro. Finishes it off with a feathered airstrike.
It hit earlier just because he was flying. But still, that is going to be a Lord attempt going to the side here of Bren Esports. Oh my goodness.
There's no contest here.
There's no contest.
Look at the wall of FlapTeasy and Few.
And it's not because Burmese Ghouls doesn't want to contest. It's because they can't.
Oh, it hurts to see. It hurts to watch. 13K ahead, and all this because Burmese Ghouls are feeling nervous and made some really bad decisions, especially when they wanted to contest that turtle. They lost 10K off of that, and honestly, I think this pretty much seals the deal here unless Bren makes a mistake. But we've seen how Bren plays. This is how they do it there at the Philippines, watching their VODs. The moment they get that lead, they don't let go of it.
Burmese Ghouls. they need to find a way. And what's that way? Just wait for Bren Esports to make a mistake. But
Yeah.
how long can you hold on?
Bren Esports is gonna force you to answer, and here we go. Feathered airstrike here by Rebo. They know now after 3 fights that have just gone sideways, they know that, hey, let's not force it. I know we're under our base. I know that they're certain, but hold up! Lusty with the way of the dragon. Ace gets eliminated. That's gonna be the trade though. Kid takes the show down, and now Ruby DD is feeling his life is in danger. And yeah, that's gonna be the push onto mid lane. The inhibitor has been taken down, and they're sieging up top as well.
You know, considering the situation, this ain't too bad, but now the Burmese Ghouls, it's an all or nothing push here as D tries to get another pick onto Kaltizi. They're trying their best. Rubini D goes down. The killing spree puts Kaltizi in perfect position, and now this was their last attempt to try and go for a fight, and Bren is able to stand up tall. They're going to take all the inhibitors and force out the Burmese Ghouls to take one last fight to ensure they put the last nail in the coffin in this game.
Oh, 2 defenders now, 3 in comes Ace, but there's no way taking this inhibitor with them. They're not keeping it, that is. Oh, I'm wondering if they can finish here. Bren Esports, they're all here, all 5.
Bren Esports, they're gonna try, but there are a lot of buffs onto the side lanes, and they're just gonna go for the all-in.
Yep, Kid taking out here. Kaltizi barely surviving. The shutdown onto Flaptizi. Oh, Ruby DD feels it. He can shut down Kaltizi. And indeed he does the execute. Pops the Yusun Shin, shutting him down 9, 1, and 8. Hold up, Rebo and Lusty. They're not done. Oh, what an alley-oop by Few from down south. It's just D left here to defend, and I don't think he can do it. Black Dragon form. He's gonna try. He's gonna try. He's going in for Few, and he knows that there's a wave here. Feathered airstrike by Rebo. Feathered airstrike by Rebo. Lusty knocking him up. There's some Shy energy, but it's not enough. That's the wipe out. We're waiting for a wave of minions, and here's one defender. Here's Kid. What can Kid do? Flame shot here by Few. He's gonna knock him up in just a matter of time. Ladies and gentlemen, Bren Esports takes game number 2.
Back-to-back wins scored by Bren Esports of the Philippines, and the Myanmar side could not respond to this call. Like what Butters mentioned here, they tried to even go in for those sort of objectives, but they understand they're a little bit too far behind after a couple of all these fights.
And considering how things are going for the side of Burmese Ghouls, they need to go back to the drawing board. It seems to me that they forgot how they beat Bren Esports in the first place. Now, if they expected Bren Esports to just come here and play the same game as they did on their first meeting on the upper bracket, they're gravely mistaken. They should find a way to stop them at this point.
Personally, the way I look at it, the draft absolutely fine. I mean, Burmese Ghouls should have been able to win on this draft. It really came down to a couple of macro decision makings that really hurt them at the end of the day. And Bren, they saw these mistakes. They're playing nervous, so let's keep on pushing through. And right now, Burmese Ghouls, I don't know whether the nerves are getting to them, because this is absolutely not what we saw in the group stages, in the entire upper brackets. Where was that confidence? Why are they shaking now?
It's really tough to tell what's the reason behind this, and this is the very first time in any major event that you are seeing Burmese Ghouls in the grand finals itself. MPLI, we saw Bren Esports pretty much getting their hands pretty close by, but hey, it was Alter Ego that snatched it away. So this is the wealth of experience in terms of an offline setting, or you can say a grand final setting.
I think at this point, Alter Ego is out of discussion. It's
That's
between
right.
these two teams, these titans of nations that are now on top of the Mobile Legends Bang Bang world, right? This is Myanmar versus the Philippines. Indonesia had their time in the sun, but yeah, right now I think we're gonna need the help of our analysts to break it down.
That's right, players got to get comfortable, so do we. We're going to pass it over to LaFell as well as Wolf to just talk about this.
Commanding victory once again from Bren Esports, getting the 2-0 start here at the Grand Finals. My name is Wolf and I'm with Lapel. We're going to be analyzing that game number 2, which was kind of interesting because this really looked like it's not Burmese Ghouls. That's at least what I saw from that match. But how about you, Lapel? What do you think?
I agree. And in this situation, sure, people can just say, all right, maybe the dig pick is that big for Burmese Ghouls. But right now, I'm going to look behind the camera, you know, in a situation in the player's head. This is the grand finals. It is a best of 7. The nerves could be going to them because the thing is, perhaps their shot caller is being pressured a little bit too much, where it's being pressured a little bit too much. I'm so sorry. But either way, this is what I'm trying to say. right now we can see that Burmese Ghouls, they're not being as aggressive as they should
right.
be.
That's
They're not going for those crazy early games. They're not going for those crazy mid games. But to be fair, Brand Esports, even I don't see much opening from them. Lusty going around everywhere in the map and doing all sorts of crazy initiations.
I want to say that it is true that Burmese Ghouls, they don't like they're in their mojo right now, right? Because we know that they are so aggressive and they were performing well when it comes to team fights. I also want to add, Joakim asked me if Burmese Ghouls will be warmed up and ready for the day. It seems like they're not. While Brand Esports, they well oiled machine. I want to say few 5-0 and 17 on point with all of those arrows.
Yeah, and honestly, it's not just with those arrows. Like, looking at the draft from Brand Esports,
Yeah.
this might be the draft to fight against Burmese Ghouls. Let's look at what they have. They have Selena, they have the Yi Sin Shin, they have the Cho. 3 of these heroes are actually very good in terms of opening the map. Selena with those abyssal traps, she can open up those bushes. Yi Sin Shin with the Mountain Shocker. Hey, where are you guys? I know where you are. And Cho, when Lusty's using it, he is pretty brave going into those bushes and
That's
like,
right.
all right, are they here? No, they're not. Let me check the next one. And again, Farsa as well with the Feather Airstrike. Even just to be safe, just open the Feather Airstrike and then just hit every single bush. In this kind of situation, Burmese Ghouls, they are not playing their game just because they are very, very preventive, because Brand Esport, their draft, the map is always open for them.
And you know, and for Brand Esports, the clashes are always opened up by the playmakers of Brand Esports. And if you think about it, every single hero just synchronizes with each other. I love the fact that whatever kind of combination you make for Brand Esports when it comes to their killing squads, it will net to kills. For example, let's pick up Selena, Yi Sin Shin, and Baxia. There's kill potential in there. If you just pick up Farsa and Selena, there's also a kill potential in there. Cho, in combination with Cartesi, also a lot of kill potentials. You know what? Cartesi scored 9-1 and 8 with this Yi Sin Shin, and he also dealt so much damage into turrets, 10-2 when it comes to turrets. But if you compare that to Ace's performance, 0 and 7, including that suicide at top lane, this is just night and day when it comes to comparison of the carries. And looking at the carry, my goodness, when will we get enough of this guy? 9-1 and 8, man.
To be fair, right? In this game, it actually could go to anyone. Few did so well,
I
Lusty
agree.
did so well. So in this kind of situation, yes, Cartesi, he's the star of the show. He dealt the damage. He maintained his position to make sure that he can deal damage while being very, very safe. But again, in this kind of situation, anyone from Brand Esports deserved that MVP, because that is one of the cleanest games that they had in terms of mechanical skill, where we see a lot of times Lusty going in and all of those arrows hit, all of those Feather Airstrike hits, all of those skill shots, they hit. And in terms of the macro as well, it's very, very difficult to gank them just because Brand Esports see everything.
Man, this is a game that I will actually give to few. If I'm asked who is my personal MVP of that particular match, I'm gonna give it to Phil, just because of how masterful he is. You do take note, in the Philippines, his Selena is known as the Championship Selena. Lore-wise, there's this big story wherein the MPL Season 2 Championship was snagged by Fuse team, which was Signal Ultra back then, and they won against Rebo's team, which was Brand Esports back then, with the Championship Selena. And that is one of the legendary heroes that everybody knows in the Philippines.
Yeah, and honestly, we are getting ready for a break right now. The players are getting ready. The casters do want to rest as well. And the thing is, coming back later, I do want to see the drop, because right now, Brand Esports, they always get the drop that they want, while I would say Burmese Ghouls, they're not really getting what they want. Like, they look very, very, I would say, uncomfortable.
Yeah, man. My goodness, Brand Esports catching fire, but we know that Burmese Ghouls will not go down without putting up a fight. We're gonna be heading into a very short break, so do not go away, because M2 World Championship will be back.
Chivalry is dead. I will revive it. I've got a bullet with your name on it.
Legendary!
Way in the desert.
Killing spree! Legendary!
Serve.
Download for free. Mobile Legends Bang Bang.
Killing spree! Mega kill! Unstoppable monster kill!
I am pretty sure right now in the Philippines there could be collective cheers happening. Brand Esports with a 2-0 lead against Burmese Ghouls, but like their tagline, BG never give up. We'll see what happens with our next game. By the way, if you just joined us, good evening. My name is Joachim Gomez. Welcome back to your M2 World Championship 2020 for Mobile Legends Bang Bang, proudly powered by Moonton, supported by the Singapore Tourism Board. Hashtag passion made possible. We also have Skoga supporting esports talents and careers here in Singapore since 2008. We have our friends over at IMDA as well, and loads of partner brands coming your way. How about this? Secret Lab, Tumi, SUTL, Singtel. We also have Cathay Cinema, MediaCorp, and official gaming gear Razer. Now, of course, my esteemed panel includes my co-host Lysander, and are you surprised what's happening, Lafell and Wolf as well?
I'm so surprised. I really thought BG could really take it. I still think that BG could win because we've seen so many reversals throughout M2. So it's still too early because this is a best of 7. So unless Brand Esports wins the other 2 games straight, then it's anybody's game.
Yeah, I think, okay, so right now they're getting a, logical break, a little bit of time to reset.
Yeah.
Reset the strategy, and I'm kind of glad we get a best of 7 now. Best of 7
Yeah.
might seem a little long to some of you folks, but it does let us, draw it out a little bit and give the, the team that's down a chance to step back up. There's still 2 games to go. It's not match point yet. And yes, like you said, reverse sweeps have happened in the history. So, Wolf, what is your analysis on this? I know Brand is the team you were supporting.
Yeah, for sure. I'm really amazed on how Brand Esports is actually performing. They look like they are not making the mistakes that they were doing previously during their losing matches, particularly in the draft. I think their draft decisions are way better. Now, it kind of makes me think and makes me scared as well. What if Burmese Ghouls are just, just warming up? As a fan, I'm scared. But as an analyst, I think that they are on a steamy roll, as I would say it.
Yeah, really hot streak. And we talked about this before, the lower bracket advantage. Playing from the lower bracket gives you that 5 extra games to warm up. You feel good after winning your lower bracket match. You come into this hot. You come into this, while Burmese Ghouls, they might just be coming from a scrim, but it's not the same as winning on the stage and already feeling that high.
I was going to touch on this. You brought it up very briefly, Wolf. Why didn't this happen for Brand yesterday against Burmese Ghouls?
Well, couple of maybe a lot of factors actually, and incidentally, I was able to talk to Ducky, and he said in verbatim that he believes that there are off days. Sometimes your brain is just turned off, Sometimes you just have to.
Your finger slips.
Yeah, that happens a lot, and. When I think about it, yeah, maybe it is true because it is a mental battle again. And the reason why we are having like big and long tournaments is because you kind of give time for, you kind of look for that sweet spot wherein everything's just working like clockwork for your entire team.
Personally, I agree as well with that kind of statement just because. Can you guys hear me, by the way?
We can, loud and clear.
Right. I thought you were just going to leave us hanging with the I agree again.
No.
Okay.
I honestly thought too.
Like honestly, like in this kind of situation, I completely agree with Ducky because this is the thing that I used to tell my players as well. And the thing is, it's also proven by science. Just like, okay, everyone at least has an experience working out, like going to the gym.
Yeah.
And sometimes they can carry this amount of weight. Sometimes they can't. And it's not their fault. It's not that they're being inconsistent. It's just how the body works. There are just days that they do not have that level of energy through many different factors. Maybe the amount of sleep, maybe like a very good morning experience. Like the food was really good. They had a good morning from someone special or anything like that.
But let's put the science, let's put the psychological thing behind us. Let's talk draft. So pretend you're not a Brand Esports fan now. You're Burmese Ghouls strategy camp. What do we do to change this current 0-2 situation? What is something Burmese Ghouls fans can look forward to? What do they have to do?
If there's a diggy from the side of Burmese Ghouls, there's the Flapsha that we're talking about. Flaps Baksha. You pointed this out as well. He is performing incredibly Well, because he is comfortable. I think that he have understood his particular role in the game, which is just to disrupt all of the sustain from the opponents and be there during the team fights. This is one thing that they can take away. I believe that Burmese Schools, they are a team that can also play the backsha. So instead of giving it freely to Bren Esports, maybe they can start to bring it up. Yi Sun-shin is also a hero that they should be contesting for both of them. I think that Yi Sun-shin is such a crucial hero for both teams' playstyle, which is based on objectives.
Yeah, it gives you a lot of vision. It gives you the the knowledge to know when to push, when to gank, and I think some of these drafts do tend to affect the outcome of the entire game. A lot of people talk about skills. We got Cartesi just going ham on everything he plays, but a lot of it comes down to what combination of heroes you picked.
Game aside, I don't want to reveal our age too much, but these guys are young. And for Burmese Ghouls, they could be feeling really down in the dumps now, going 2-0 down this early in the game. What do you think their coach Panda is telling them before they take on the third series?
I think that the coach just wants to remind them of how they won against Bren Esports, how dominantly they were able to just destroy Bren Esports, because I think that was a total destruction, annihilation of Bren Esports when they won 2-0. And if you remind your players that, you can actually win, and maybe slowly they can get back that feeling of winning against a team, maybe that is one way to recovery.
Just say Evo's M1.
Yeah,
it's happened before.
Yeah, and for me personally, I feel like they have forgotten how they got here. They've been playing the heavy damage composition. They've been very, very aggressive. Now, this is one of the problems of when in a very, very big, I would say, high stakes level, is that you respect your enemy a little bit too much. In this kind of situation, they might have to turn down the respect a bit, and in case they're having the jitters, they're nervous, something that I would say, wash your face, relax, calm down, and then you guys can just go very, very aggressive in the next game.
It's crazy.
It looks like they're ready, Joachim. So let's go into it, Joachim.
Thank you very much, Lysander, Lafell, and Wolf. Now, wherever you're watching us from around the world, we say thank you. I understand people are hosting viewing parties right now. I think local streamer Nico Mello streaming Mobile Legends Bang Bang Grand Finals. Thank you so much for watching this, Nico. Now, we're going to be handing you over to our casters who will guide you through the next round between Bren and Burmese Ghouls.
Thank you so much, everyone on the panelists, as well as the hosts as well, for, of course, introducing all of us here. And welcome back to the M2 World Championship 2020. And special thanks to our sponsors, Secret Lab, the award-winning gaming seats engineered for long hours of comfort, as well as seating form. Available in Secret Lab's official store in major e-commerces in Singapore, or visit secretlab.co.
Thank you as well to PvP Esports, our partner in esports, to turn your competitive gaming dreams into reality, where gaming lives. PvP Esports is Southeast Asia's one-stop platform for amateur and professional gamers alike.
And of course, the M2 World Championship is always a celebration with fans all across the world. And for those of you guys who are in Singapore, do you know that there's actually an official live screening event happening for the M2 at Cafe Cine Leisure Orchard? It's called MVP, and you can catch all the M2 action here for the grand finals on a big cinematic screen. And what's more, you can also win attractive prizes when you take part in the activities and win some lucky draw. And it runs all the way when the grand finals hit the very final game, and you can get your tickets still at the Cathay Cineplex's website. And check out rsg.gg/MVP for more information on MVP. And shout out to our MLBB communities watching at the Cathay Cinemas and US, as well as Bukit Merah Sports Hub and Swimming Complex. So, of course, formalities out of the way. Now, casters, we've seen those games coming in, and it's already 2-0 in favor of Bren Esports. Definitely doing everything right at the moment. And Burmese Ghouls, oh boy, we don't know. They have had a really good run in the past games, but now in this best of 7, of course, rough start indeed for their Myanmar side.
Yeah, honestly, I think rough start isn't just the beginning to kind of explain how much stress these guys are under.
Understatement.
Yeah, a huge understatement here. But you know what isn't an understatement here? People not having purchased the new M2 exclusive skin.
And speaking of skins as well, have you guys made your predictions? Well, I did, and my coins are going down the drain because, well, I'm pretty much like a LaFell, but you guys can complete your task and predict the champions to win the M2 coins, exchange the coins for exclusive rewards such as the avatar borders, the skins, battle emotes, as well as secret statue. And if you guys may have actually lost some coins, you can still get that exclusive skin. You got Clint Shadow Omen that can be gained directly for 899 diamonds only. And this happens only until the end of today.
Oh boy. Yeah, so as we were saying, the Burmese Ghouls under immense amount of pressure. This is their first one of honestly, I won't even say first, but this is one of the moments where a lot of your experiences, an MPL is going to sound really great in hindsight, but when you're on the world stage of M2, it's imagine like 10 MPLs put on your back. That's the kind of pressure we're talking about here.
One of the things that people tell you where it's good to have a hiccup early than having that certain hiccup by the time when the crucial matches start. Now, this is what's happening to Burmese Ghouls. They have a smooth sailing run. They make it to the upper bracket finals, now to the grand finals. They didn't have a lot of games on their belt. They didn't see what are the things that they can improve, but Bren Esports, they found those things and they're just turning up right now. They're showing up their experience and what they learned along the way.
10 seconds before the draft here. Maybe less, actually. But yeah, I agree. Nothing quite prepares you for the world stage. And right now, the Burmese Ghouls, this is as much as I expected. They might as well ban the Baksha just the way Brainy Sports takes out the Diggy. There's the Esmeralda, as always, a threat, and as well the Natalia for Brainy Sports. Third ban's gonna mean a lot here because the Baksha has been taken out. That means the likes of Brody are still out there, the likes of Jawhead, the likes of Benedetta. What else is out there? This feels like the Wild Wild West.
Yeah, it definitely feels like the Wild West as we see some ultra rapid fire bans coming our way. And we also seen that Brody has been picked up by Burmese Ghouls quite a number of times. Back in, a couple of all these past matches out there. I know you're having a little bit of the grin as well. What do you have to say about this, Gideon?
I think Burmese Ghouls honestly doing a really good job here, finally addressing the problem, and now they have to start thinking a little bit further than that. The problem is gone, but this presents a new environment, and now Bren, I'm pretty sure they've been preparing for this eventually when this Baxia was going to get banned out. As you mentioned, Leo, Brody is up on the table. However, high priority heroes of other sorts are going to start rising. Yutong is going to be an absolute monster now that nothing is really going to be able to stop it. Lapu Lapu might be able to come back into the pool now that you can't necessarily negate his healing. So, just another couple of options, and mainly the offlaners who are going to make that difference. And here we go, Brody ban, Selena ban, and all of a sudden you got Matilda and Yutong being locked in by Bren Esports.
Oh, I like what I'm seeing. Burmese Ghouls, they really value here the stock that they have in Matilda's kit, gonna be played by Kid in mid. And now Bren Esports, yeah, again, you mentioned it, this Yuzhong is gonna run roughshod given that Burmese Ghouls are forced to build either the Necklace of Durance, a casual Deadly Blade, or the Sea Halberd to be able to call the healing here. And right now, it's either Few or Lusty that they have to prioritize. Hell, even Carl Teasy would be fine here in this second pick.
Now, Bren Esports, they're probably thinking about getting the Claude now, or they should get a should they get a Benedetta? Those are the things that they really want for their team. Now, Bren Esports gets the Claude. Ace plays one mean Claude as well. So, this is the same as RRQ, to be honest, where Bren and RRQ just went for it for the Claude. They put their drafting patterns into play. It was a battle of just finding the right bans. And now, Bren Esports got it.
Yeah, and going over down towards Boomer's goal side, there's still 2 more picks here. I'm looking at the possibility of the contest of Cho. And would this actually be the side of Boomer's goals, Gideon?
considering the Trill, once you address the major problem, which is Sylvana, who's been an absolute menace in this tournament here. But now, Brent, they see, okay, you have a Sylvana. I'm going to be bringing out the Atlas here just to make sure, oh no, you get hit by the Imperial Justice. No worries, Fatal Links. And Perfect Match being a great answer to it.
That is one of the things that you really have to take into consideration when you're fighting against Burmese ghouls. Now, what do these guys do best? They go for the 5-man rotations, they want to go for the clash. So going for a Cho won't really cut it. I mean, the only AoE you have is Jeet Kune Do. Then after that, it's done. But for the Atlas, Burmese ghouls will be thinking, should we fight? Does he have Fatal Links?
Or is someone hiding in the bush?
Is someone hiding in the bush? So there are a lot more things to consider for Burmese ghouls if they want to win that certain fight.
That's right. Going back in towards the bans, we already seen the Lunox being removed, but one question here, we haven't seen a ban on the Benedetta, and you know, it's definitely an odd question because we've seen Burmese ghouls didn't have that success in the past game, so
I think
they might miss on this one.
In the earlier parts of M2 and even in the playoffs, yeah, Lapu-Lapu and Benedetta have always been important. But now I think teams have gone to the point wherein they know what they need and when they need it very specifically. And right now, Lapu-Lapu and Benedetta just not their priorities. They're starting to choke out these mages that could show up in the side lanes. Definitely Doc Ribos, Farsa, and for Bren Esports, they're just taking care of the Lunox, which may come from Ruby Didi as well. We know that he's capable of such. And right now, a second ban by Bren Esports. It's a tank taken away from maybe, hold up, that may have been quite, yeah, that seems like a waste.
I think that is a little bit of a waste for the side of Bren, especially when they've shown the Matilda as well as the Sylvana. But remember, Sylvana can be flexed. So again, Bren is just securing, making sure, like, okay, if this Sylvana is going to be a support, she is going to be a mid lane support. We want to ensure that. Burmese ghouls, on the other hand, they're considering, we need to either get rid of Harith or Alice. Alice is decided to get taken off here because Bren need to make that choice as the off lanes still haven't been entirely complete. Yes, Claude could go there, but somebody has to show their cards first. And unfortunately, that's going to be Bren locking in the Benedetta.
Yeah, I'm liking the beauty of this draft because there's so much diversity just looking at Phase 1 as well as Phase 2. Now, Bren Esports finally get their hands on Benedetta, and I've definitely called this one much earlier. They kind of need somebody to deal with all these fast-moving targets.
Now, looking at it, Bren Esports, they got a lot of the big shots of the meta on their poon for the side of Burmese ghouls. This is going to be a side lane show.
Side lane show. I mean, yes, it can be a side lane show. It also could be a Sylvana show. That's kind of the problem with Sylvana. She doesn't have an instantaneous role. But now, here we go. The Lapu.
Oh, this lineup, pardon my words, looks a little cobbled together. It feels like it's trying to do so many things, and its team fights are odd, but it looks like it's very strong on the pickoff, which might be, I don't know, a delayed reaction to the Atlas.
It's like you don't want to fight because you have a Cho that can go for the split push, but at the same time, you want to fight because you have a Sylvana and a Lapu on your side.
And a Matilda. Yeah. The Matilda wants to start fights here, so Bren Esports, they also have quite an open book. They still need a hero for few.
I think at this point, even if they lock the Harith in, it's pretty much a pretty solid team composition coming in from Bren Esports. I mean, Farsa has already been taken out, so that just leaves with, you know, a couple of few mages that they could go for. They could arguably go for the Loyi if they really wanted to. And the final pick is going to be, still hasn't shown up just yet, but that gives me a little bit more time to kind of talk.
Oh,
the overtime, yes.
Kagura.
The Kagura.
Is it the Kagura?
I mean, it showed up behind them.
Oh, it did. It
matches,
did.
yeah. Oh, no, what?
No,
It's a
no.
Kagura. It's a Kagura.
Yeah,
It's a Kagura.
Definitely a Kagura. Great that you spot that one out because I don't want to deal with two Claudes. Nobody wants to. It's partly impossible.
Yeah.
So, a very team fight-oriented side for the South Bren Esports. Something that they are bringing it time and time again. But Burmese Skulls, they have improved their run here, perhaps with Lapu-Lapu. So, talk us through this top before we get ourselves in towards Landon.
Here, now Burmese Ghouls want to play a game where it's macroly sound. They want to go for split pushes. They want to have a little bit of elements of pick potentials to get these small skirmishes done. Bren, on the other side, complete team fighting composition. They want to go for those big dives. They want to go for those full 5v5s in the jungle. It's something they can be aware of because Burmese Ghouls, if they're still feeling nervous and they make the wrong decision, they could break.
And here we go, another game in the grand finals. It's the M2 World Championship 2020 M2. And Burmese Ghouls still looking for that point, and Brent Esports looking to lock themselves in towards match point.
Let's get it on, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be Kid, so brave, trying to stop Karl'Tezi from this quick take, and Karl'Tezi, mind you, already at less than half health.
This is the way you want to do it. Burmese Ghouls, they know that level 1 is stronger in Bren. They want a team fight, but not at level 1. What can they do? Kagura can try to zone them out, but level 1, she's pretty useless. FlapTeezy on the other side, isn't going to be able to participate. Lusty can't push out, and the same goes for Few, who didn't react and start with a mid opening.
Butters, are you seeing what I'm seeing?
I'm seeing
Quite
what
the
you're
shuffle on
seeing.
Bren. Quite the shuffle.
That is going to be Few on that support Benedetta. Well, mid lane Benedetta, rather. And that is going to be very interesting since we do see Few on these kinds of heroes, but ever since she went to the mid lane, this has changed a lot. And as you can see here, he is punishing Kid and he's giving a hard time for Maybe. It just feels like Maybe is forced to use his kills on that Benedetta alone.
At this point in time, I think it's a pretty good opening coming in for the Burmese Ghouls. A great adaptation to say, hey, even though you do have a Benedetta in towards that mid lane, we're still going to put some damage into your jungler. Because remember, Karl'Tezi, he is going to need a little bit of help on his first clear, and then after that, he's generally okay.
Yeah. The last time we saw a Kagura on the side lane, that was used by 10S Gaming Frost. It's as if Bren Esports, they're getting a lot of their ideas from the enemies that they faced along the way.
Yep, just like the Sharingan from Naruto. Did I say that right? Did I say that right? 2 minutes in, here's the first turtle. Two teams jockeying for position. Few picking the fight. That's going to be the Spiral Strangling by Maybe, although he does take quite a chunk of damage. Ace resetting the turtle here. From behind, in comes FlapTeezy. Where do Karl'Tezi be taking that gold buff down bottom lane? I think there's enough time for him to rotate. Oh, hold up, FlapTeezy getting caught out here. Oh, that's gonna be D committing already. He sidesteps the fight, and that's gonna be Karl'Tezi with the battle mirror image out. Ruby DD wants to disengage. That's already a few ults spent.
That's some very big ults spent. The more key ultimates, unfortunately for Karl'Tezi here. Fortunately for Karl'Tezi, he survives all that damage, and still Burmese Ghouls now just waiting for their ultimates to come back up off cooldown, and then Bren just needs to kind of maneuver the fight a little bit more.
Yeah, and as you can see, Burmese Ghouls, they're not getting the play that they're good at. They're not getting the first turtle. Bren Esports just controlling this area of the map so clean.
Yeah, same goes to the side of Burmese Ghouls. Now, get in. Right now, over Bob's side, it's Ruby DD. He's kind of suffering a lot of hits.
Yeah, he's taking a little bit too much damage overall, and I think at this point in time, Bren, they want to make sure that they are playing the stalemate game. Ace, he doesn't get hit by that perfect match, which is going to allow D to get into the backside. The Bravest Warrior comes in, but unfortunately, it's going to be the rest of the team coming through. It's going to be FlapTeezy with the Black Dragon form. They trade 1-for-1, but it's still not looking good as the pick potential coming out from the side of Burmese Ghouls is still a little better, and the rest of Bren Esports weren't able to keep up.
I like the execution there coming up from Burmese Ghouls. They did not back down on the idea and they get rewarded. Flap here getting harassed a bit by Kid, and as you can see, Burmese Ghouls, they just want to take down a turret.
Oh, here we go. I think the Burmese Ghouls have committed so far, and there's no turning back. That's Rebo getting bursted down here by the Lone Wolf. That's gonna be the Electro final blow, not hitting much, maybe a pulse or two, and right now that's gonna be disengage off camera. Maybe duels down Karl'Tezi and wins.
That is some great micro mechanics there. Kid abusing the fact that you can get pulled, and even a pick. D surviving a 1v4, hops over the wall, making sure that he's using the structure to gain that extra bit of distance. It pushes him on the other side, creating a large gap that Bren cannot close in on.
Burmese Ghouls, they're being very flexible in what they're able to do. They learned from the 2 games that came, that Brand Esports won. But maybe here, that is Imperial Justice hitting the ground.
He's already spent it, and right now they are overcommitted. Carl Teasy with the Blazing Duet. He's protected by this wall. Flap Teasy gonna help with the kill. That's Rebo securing it. Down goes Kid. Oh, and Few getting threatened here by Ruby DD. Mind you, this is an assassin show with the high and dry. Sitting at 3-2. Burmese Ghouls have a 3K gold lead waiting for this second turtle.
But you know what? This is looking great for the side of Burmese Ghouls. I mean, Carl Teasy is not getting the farm progression. For Few, he's having a hard time dealing a lot of damage just because he is forced to join every single fight.
Yeah, and you bring up some really great points here because, again, Bren, they cannot just keep on taking these fights again and again and again and again. Their teams still need that return of investment that Burmese Ghouls have been denying them. So, unless unless Bren is able to try and pick those buffs up later on, it's going to be tough because Burmese Ghouls is doing a great job at just saying no, no, no.
Oh no, Rebo here. Getting jumped on. Nice. Yin Yang overturns a swap underneath the turret. There's a lot of damage. Made the links by Lusty. And Ruby DD still stands. Way of the Dragon, but he will not survive. That's going to be 2 for none here on the side of Brand Esports. Some room to breathe for all of us.
I mean, I took off my blazer already. This has been a really intense game here. I feel like I am just sweating all the time at this point. Oh boy, yes. So coming into this game, and more importantly, we can talk about some important factors here while we're at the in-game pause. We can see that number 1, Cartesi, yes, he is starting to get ahead here off of the over-aggression coming in from the Burmese Ghouls. However, you have to kind of commend them here for the side of BG because now they're not playing as nervous. You can definitely see a little bit of their previous form.
Yeah, and of course, speaking of those sort of forms, right, they're also taking all these sort of playbooks out there. They face the side of, they've seen 10 Seconds Gaming Frost do this exact same thing with the Atlas as well as the Kagura. Just before we pause, the exact combo, Fatal Links can be coming right after or before that Yin Yang overturn.
Burmese Ghouls just woke up. They know that they have to start winning, so Burmese Ghouls just, I don't know. It seems to me like they're being more, they're being very careful than their most, extra careful rather than their most games. Just going into the fights, it's like they really just try to utilize the Lee Sun Shin, and this is why this is one of their best heroes. They know how to pick their fights. They know how to set the positioning. Now, for the side of the Cho, he's been winning it a lot. He's been catching Rebo out a lot, but that 2-man, that skirmish on the bottom lane, which they won, I don't really know what kind of effect will it have for Bren Esports, but it will stop Burmese Ghouls from being aggressive for the meantime.
It keeps Bren in the game for sure.
For sure.
And seeing how this draft has come to fruition, again, you see the intention before they locked it in, and now the execution. It's definitely divide and conquer. That's the only way that they can make this work. And right now, going back into the game, we are still sitting at 3-4, about a 2,000 gold lead for the Burmese Ghouls. And yeah, that's 2 turrets ahead. Hold up, fight already breaking out. Not wasting any time, maybe. Dash is on out of the way. Burmese Ghouls, again, you'll never see them being there 3 or more in a single place. Like, they want to pick off these little fights. And again, Ace is just happy to help at any point.
And I think the Burmese Ghouls, obviously, it's still a little rough around the edges here. They need to start focusing on their side lanes. And although they're getting, they're getting some really good catches overall, their main focus should be, yes, major objectives. All tier 1s have been destroyed here. And if Bren Esports takes one back, no big deal. We're still going to pressure the other side of the map.
This is the Burmese Ghouls that we all know, and this is the Burmese Ghouls that their fans really love. This early game domination, this is a trademark of the Burmese Ghouls.
Oh, this fight is already broken out. Imperial Justice by Maybe. There's the Fatal Links by Lusty, but there's no damage present. Flap Easy, Black Dragon form, drawing a line that he's enforcing. Nobody goes through here. Carl Teasy is busy farming. That's going to be killed with the Duran. So yeah, he can start going into Flap Teasy and make sure that Flap Teasy doesn't even heal off of the killing spree now. Orange, oh, I think it gets stolen away from Carl.
Wow, D is doing a really great job here. Few gets absolutely chunked out. A solo kill down a bot side? Flap Teasy? What happened? Oh, he had Kid nearby. Okay, that makes a little bit more sense.
This is tricky for the side of Bren Esports. This is the winning form of the Burmese Ghouls now. For Flap, he should be a bit more careful. If the enemy knows that he doesn't have the Black Dragon form, that is an automatic engage on his side.
Yep. Permission to attack, sir.
Permission to attack.
Oh, that's going to be a catch onto Few. Electo final blow using the iframes to get on out of there. But despite all this effort, despite surviving, they are going to lose another turret up top, and now only one stands in mid.
Now, just for a quick explanation for those of you who don't understand what iframes are, iframes is just a short form of invulnerability frames, a short period of time, or frames that the game uses to kind of calculate how calculate a measure of time in which you are going to be invulnerable. You can't take damage, the CC is not going to matter, and especially with Benedetta's eye for an eye, if you haven't played against her yet, well, you probably should be playing more ranked.
This is a high-level game, and one of the signs of or symbols that it is a high mechanic game is look at the kill score. 4-4-4, 8 minutes in. 8 minutes in, it's usually a blood battle already.
Imperial Justice here, a buy maybe, and yeah, they disengage. It's a false engage, but they're forcing Bren, and I think Flapteezy bit the bait. That's going to be the Black Dragon form, and that's a check. All right, no ult on Flapteezy. We can go the next time around.
Oh my goodness, they have insurance policies for the side of Burmese Ghouls. The moment maybe is deciding, okay, maybe I should go for the Imperial Justice, he's allowed to go. Ace quickly uses his Mountain Chakra to give him a double confirmation, whether to keep on going or to pull back out. And as soon as he did that, he saw, oh, 4 members of Bren are already too nearby. We got to back on out of there.
Now, Bren Esports, they're clearing the minion waves. I'll give them that, but Burmese Ghouls, they are setting up well for this Lord. Now, looking at the items here of Carl Teasy, he only has the Demon Hunter's sword. The sword, the Golden Staff will come out in just a bit, but still, look at the items of Ace. He is with the Blade of Despair and a newly built Endless Battle.
Oh. Honestly, look at the items of D. He, instead of going defensive, he's like, no, let's fight, bros. Give me that Bloodlust Axe. Give me that Blade of Despair. I want to be able to take you on 1v1. If it's a 1v4, even better, just more healing for me.
And this is, let's say this is a Kagura special. She's one of the heroes that can do this. She can send the umbrella to a nearby brush to just check who is in that area. And that eliminates the element of face checking for the side of Bren Esports.
And they face check into this Lord. Take Flapteezy Black Dragon form. Imperial Justice already spent in by maybe. He gets blasted down. Rebo gets the kill. And I think Carl Teasy as well used the Blazing Duet to clear that wave and win that fight. That's one pickoff, which gives Burmese Ghouls the sign, hey, Lord is not safe. We back out of here.
Oh man, I honestly believe almost 100% Kid misclicked the Circling Eagle on the wrong target there. No way would you ever want to use it on Flapteezy.
You know what? Kid, the moment he went down, every single Burmese Ghouls player just went back and reset the Lord. And that is the discipline that got them into this Grand Finals.
I can only imagine what the comms sounded like, but yeah, Lusty is going to get hit by the Imperial Justice and walk away, but no real follow-up from here on out. But it just means that the rest of BG are going to be able to take this out, and now the fight begins.
That's going to be a takedown onto Lusty. Mountain Shocker here, going to be disincentivizing them, sticking together. Carl Teasy picked off by Ruby DD. Few taken out by Ace, and now Flapteezy, the only one left because Rebo's gonna back out. That's a double for Ace, a 4 for none, plus the Lord. Rebo's sweating it.
Burmese Ghouls. That is one of their trademarks. They go for a very sneaky Lord, and after that, you can see Ruby DD just playing his game. He catches out Carl, punishes Carl, and now Carl's farm can't be felt just because he's respawning.
11k and Ace, he's going to be able to take out one more inhibitor shot. Rebo getting hit by literally everything. He quickly goes for the close umbrella to quickly transport himself, but Lord on towards the top side. All 3 inhibitors are done. Perfect match and Fatal Links. This could be it. Brett come in with an amazing blazing duet, but they got to get rid of that Lord. If Lord doesn't go down, then they might lose. Thank goodness Bren turned this around. 10k down. An amazing play coming in from Lusty.
Hashtag thank you, Lusty.
That was too close for comfort.
If only the members here on the side of Bren Esports had more damage, that could have been a wipe. But Burmese Ghouls, that just goes to show that they still have the lead in terms of the items. Now, looking at it, they are forcing to go to that middle lane, but Atlas, Lusty finding that opening.
Oh, that's so good. That literally saved them the game right there. The 10k down, they wouldn't have won any other way. Flaptease, oh no, D actually missing the last hit there, and I think he might have been pretty close to killing Flap there. But overall, great job. Bren need to kind of hold on. They need to do what Burmese did in the previous game, which what they were supposed to do, which is hold out and allow them scale.
Oh! Circling Eagle here pulled by Kid on a blazing duet. Carl DZ, D coming in. Carl is in trouble. That's going to be maybe taking him down. And the Imperial Justice makes sure that there are no survivors. Flapteasy cordoning off the rest of Burmese Ghouls from their base. But he gets bursted down here by Ace. 2 for none already. It's looking grim for Bren Esports because the Burmese Ghouls have once more woken up. They are ready and they're looking for the finish.
Yes, and Burmese Ghouls, this looks like a 2-1 going. This is a 2-1 going to the side of Burmese Ghouls. Bren Esports. They made a bit of a complex lineup there.
This is looking more like it in the grand finals, and Burmese Ghouls gets their first pointer at the bag. And just look at how coordinated they are. Once they've established control, they set up checkpoints inside of jungle, making it definitely harder for the side of Bren Esports to bypass. But that real sneaky lure really got them the game.
Yeah, they really abuse power spike mechanics there, knowing that 2 items, and especially with Hunter's Machete just fully stacked up and can actually allow him to solo the Lord with no issues whatsoever there. Great ideas.